Professor Ståhle, why is psoriasis so common in Northern Europe?
It's a very interesting question, and we don't have the full answer, but we think it is in the small difference in the genetic background. That is the main difference between areas like Africa, Asia. So we think so.
But correct me if I'm wrong, if it's genetic, I've been a GP for 26 years, I get the impression it's increasing.
Yes, that's true. That is true. And actually studies from Norway, population studies from Norway, indicate that. And since it's driven not only by genetics but also by environmental factors, lifestyle factors, it could be possibly the increasing obesity in the world, because it's been shown that not only does psoriasis associates heavily with obesity, and obesity is independently associated with psoriasis. So if you have a certain genetic background and you get very obese, you are more likely to develop the skin disease.
But it's also associated with smoking up to 20 years after you stop, and yet that's going down.
It's going down now, so that should work in the other direction. But we have to admit that we do not have very accurate figures about the prevalence, because psoriasis can be very mild and never come to the attention of the healthcare system. Many patients or many individuals don't seek healthcare because of some patches that are psoriasis but not severe enough to require medication.
Interestingly, I have quite a lot of patients who have psoriasis which might at first sight seem, quote, mild.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect a very large amount of their skin, and yet they still suffer psychologically, and certainly the mental problems that they get, the mental health implications are significant even for those patients.
Yeah, for some, and it's true. And I don't know, in our society the surface is very important, and especially if you get your psoriasis, as the majority does, at a young age. So even if you have a little patch, it can really affect your quality of life.
Of course, there's a peak in psoriasis at about puberty, another at about the menopause over 40. Is this the hormonal element, and if so, what about men?
We believe that psoriasis is equally prevalent in both sexes. In many studies, women get it a little earlier than men, and well, it's been attributed to an earlier puberty, but we do not have any indications that the sex hormones in any way precipitate the disease.
You have cleared up a misconception that I've held for years. Again, my experience is that women, especially in relatively non-severe, because I don't like to describe psoriasis as mild, but in the non-severe cases, they tend to be disproportionately affected by it.
Women are supposed to be pretty and have a smooth skin, so the expectations from women is a bit higher when it comes to look, I guess.
Is there any chance of a cure in sight?
I would say, I would predict that I don't see that happening. I may be wrong. I mean, we have very good medications and many more in pipeline, so we can treat psoriasis in almost all patients. We can get them in a very good shape. But the type of medication that is developing is not curative, because we certainly don't want to mess up with the genes.
So do you think in this day and age that it's realistic for patients to be able to expect completely controlled, clear, almost clear skin?
Almost clear. I would say that I would prefer almost clear to clear. I know this is the big debate, and of course maybe you would like to have everything gone, but then you don't know if you treat too much, because all of these treatments decrease the immune system, and we have the immune system to defend us against infections and against cancer, and you don't want to be too much over the limit to suppress the disease. So I tend to tell my patients, if you have a little patch, it's not bad, because it shows that your immune system is still working.
Professor Ståhle, thank you very much.
Thank you.